on from before I even got elected, and it's a disgrace that it happened. And if you look at what's gone on, and if you look at now all of this information that's being released, and from what it should never be allowed to happen in our country. And you'll be seeing that in the coming weeks. But I'm not to do so. Yeah, John, please. You know what the crime is. The crime is very obvious to everybody. All you have to do is read the newspapers, except yours.
We have a president who started out when the country was together and had a wonderful leader, and he is tearing us limb from limb. Well, destroying every institution.
Let's talk about this Donald Trump, even though we don't want to. Let's bring it on the panel for this.
He's a car salesman. He's a used car salesman.
Absolutely.
And he's, you know, he didn't make America great again, but he did turn back the odometer. So who knows what the hell is wrong with us?
Politics usually takes itself pretty seriously, very dramatic, very intense. But somehow, nobody told Jim Carrey. Instead of going along with the usual political script, he treated the whole thing like a comedy sketch that somehow spilled into real life. And once that happened, everything just spiraled into a level of absurdity even Hollywood writers couldn't come up with. So how did one joke turn into something that went completely viral? And what exactly did Carrey do that left the internet stunned? Stick around because it only gets stranger from here.
You know, and covering for this president is like putting makeup on a melanoma. You know, not only unsightly, but it's dangerous. I'd see that everybody's a hypocrite because everybody's imagined themselves standing there with his head. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe at least half the country. You know, we're in a tough spot. It's a very, very divided world, and those on I guess you'd call it the left side. I just call it the sensible side. Is, you know, we're sitting there watching this nonsense.
For years, politics has kind of worked like this super serious game, where everyone pretends debates are these big brain chess matches, speeches are historic moments, and press conferences are basically treated like sacred rituals of democracy.
Hatred of immigrants, contempt for the truth, greed, and the abuse of power. We are fighting those same evils today. And we need to be clear, shamelessness is not and will never be a superpower. It is the mark of a villain. Kidnapping children is not what great nations do. Almost half of America at this moment believes there is a sinister deep state diabolically plotting to what? Give them health care?
Then someone like Jim Carrey shows up, flips the whole table, and suddenly that chess match looks more like a bunch of clowns with microphones. And this whole moment? It started the way most modern political chaos does, just the internet doing its thing, turning a small disagreement into a full-blown global spectacle.
Why don't I have a high approval rating with respect, and the administration?
And they say, we don't need him, freedom, freedom. He's a dictator, he's a dictator. A lot of people are saying maybe we like a dictator. I don't like a dictator. I'm not a dictator. I'm a man with great common sense, and I'm a smart person.
The twist this time? The one setting things off wasn't a seasoned politician or some pundit farming outrage for clicks. It was a comedian, someone whose whole career is built on pushing reality way past its limits until it turns into something completely ridiculous.
We are parentless, you know, and we are babysat by the television. We're taught how to think by the television. That's the dangerous thing about what's going on right now. There are generations growing up right now who are learning to lie. That lying is okay. That this
kids say fake news.
That you're supposed to hate half the country. You know? And if anything, we've got to get back to a place where we realize that a vote is not who you are. You know, and because you voted Republican, you're not stupid. You're not different. You're not worthless.
And when that comedian turns his attention to someone like Donald Trump, a guy who already plays the headline game like it's a sport, the whole thing stops feeling like politics and starts looking like some kind of live performance piece.
This administration is a rabid dog, and it's turning us upside down. And all, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it's as obvious as the nose on your face. You know, but people have made these elections and politics in general who they are, and it's not who you are. You can make a bad decision about a candidate. It's not who you are.
What makes this clash so weird is that both guys were already known for operating in their own over-the-top versions of reality. One built an empire on dramatic speeches, TV-style theatrics, and a level of confidence that could probably power a small city. The other made a career out of turning his face into a full-blown cartoon and somehow convincing millions of people that a grown man talking out of his backside was cinematic genius. On paper, it sounds like the setup for a bizarre Hollywood comedy. But in real life, it turned into one of the internet's favorite shows, a comedian treating politics like some surreal art experiment while everyone else watched with popcorn. If you've followed Jim Carrey for a while, though, it almost felt inevitable. This is the same guy who brought that chaotic energy into movies like Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, where subtlety didn't just take a backseat, it wasn't even invited. So, when politics started feeling more like a circus, Carrey basically looked around and figured it might as well have a professional clown in the mix. And instead of playing it safe with polite takes or careful political wording, he went all in, pushing everything to the extreme until the whole situation looked completely absurd from every angle.
I've been posting a lot of political drawings.
Yeah.
Why?
Have?
Even though, my cartoons might be a little crass, I'm being crass because I believe that we need to be crass right now in a way, and yet with kindness, with love, we have to express this horrible feeling that we have.
I just go to work and cry in every scene.
And here's where it got really interesting because satire has this weird power when it bumps into politics. Serious debates can go on forever, but mockery? That stuff sneaks past all the defenses and turns the big shots into jokes. Carrey got this instantly, and the internet didn't miss a beat. Every time he leaned into how ridiculous things were, social media reacted like a crowd at an insane boxing match where one fighter had rubber arms and cartoon sound effects. People who usually steered clear of politics found themselves hooked, not because they were after policy breakdowns, but because the whole thing became way more fun than your typical political talk. On the other hand, Trump stayed exactly the same, a headline machine, thriving in a world where attention is the real prize. The internet, of course, did what it always does when two massive personalities go at it, turned everything into memes, debates, and a flood of hot takes from people who suddenly thought they were political experts just because they had a phone in their hand.
Only because they hate Trump. But I hate them too, you know that? So it's sort of I really do, I hate them. I cannot stand them because I really believe they hate our country. You want to know the truth?
There's no meaning to any of that. You got to admit it's completely meaningless. I don't believe that you exist. It's not our world.
None of
That's
this is
the key.
real?
Nope.
So you're just passing
We don't
through.
matter. We don't matter.
Oh, wow.
There's the good news.
What made Carrey's approach so cool was that he didn't try to be some political genius or expert. Nah, he treated the whole thing like a massive stage, where exaggeration, satire, and pure mockery were his tools to show just how weird politics had gotten. For ages, comedians like Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert had been doing this in American culture, showing that satire could often call out political nonsense way better than the news ever could. Carrey just took that idea and cranked it up to full cartoon mode. Instead of light, playful jabs, he gave us a comedy show that felt like a fireworks display. Everything was bigger, louder, and so over the top, it made you realize that sometimes, politics feels more like a drama show than anything real. And here's the kicker. Whether people loved it or hated it, they just couldn't stop watching. That's the secret sauce of today's media. Attention. Trump totally gets how attention works, and that's what makes the dynamic between him and Carrey so wild. One guy knows how to own the news with outrageous comments and nonstop presence, while the other owns the spotlight by turning everything into a comedic circus.
It doesn't mean you're dumb. It doesn't mean you're different. I can break bread with anybody in this country. I love people in this country. I love the heartland of this country. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with it's become obvious that the choice was a bad one. We just need to change it. And if you can't vote for a Democrat, at least let all this flood of information that's so negative and so obvious keep you home.